Indianapolis residents are not letting the lack of in-person neighborhood and city meetings keep them from speaking out about the violence and crime that impacts their daily lives. WRTV reporter Cameron Riddle shows how neighbors not only made their voices heard tonight, but also led the conversation.
In Indianapolis, the connections to violence or illegal activity can be up close and personal.
For me, I've lost over 40 students since 2008 that I have worked with to gun violence, and I have probably lost the same amount to the prison industrial complex.
The experience that I had growing up was pretty much when I walked outside my porch, it was crack violence that was there. It was a dice game that was actually being had. It was easy to, we looked up to the dope man.
These were just some of the stories shared during a virtual community meeting for the Kennedy King neighborhood. The topic of discussion is the issue impacting every corner of the city: violence in Indianapolis.
I see a level of hopelessness throughout our community that I have never seen before. And people have just totally given up because of false promises.
Residents say the hopelessness that makes violence in Indy feel like a regular part of every day is fueled by elected officials not addressing the root causes of the problems, including what some call a lack of results and economic development in certain parts of the city.
I grew up in Hallsburg, Riverside. Some of the same abandoned buildings back since 1985, since 1986, are still in the same neighborhoods.
Lack of access to equitable education, mental health care, healthy food, groceries, employment, all of these things. We continue to have elected officials that run on platforms of racial equity, and yet once they get elected, they do not follow through.
The COVID-19 pandemic has put conversations like this on hold while the problem of violence continues. MARSHAWN WOLLEY with Black Onyx Management hosted this virtual meeting alongside the Indiana Pacers and the Kennedy King Memorial Initiative, all in an effort to fill the void in hearing from the community. WOLLEY is taking notes filled with residents' thoughts and their suggestions on how to stop the violence. He plans to share that feedback with city leaders.
I think if we can have a conversation and figure out how to take the ideas and turn them into policy, then that helps the city county council or city leaders figure out what they want to do.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Well, there are upcoming community conversations planned for neighborhoods in other parts of the city, including the Far East Side and Concord community on the West Side.